Speakers Bureau. It's called the American Program Bureau. And you can call them and you can book a public event. I speak at universities, I speak at corporate events, I speak at cybersecurity conferences to talk to people about what is happening on the internet. What is the future of surveillance and how can we protect ourselves? I'm very fortunate to have had that opportunity, and it's meant that I've had a quite comfortable life in quite a difficult position.
The former White House aide, H.R. Haldeman, left us with an expression for the ages, and when he said, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. For Americans who feel that this is just a behemoth, that there's no way they could have any control over it, for Americans who long ago decided we're just going to have to live with this surveillance, how could it possibly be receded or rescinded or stopped?
We can stop a program. We can thwart an attack. We can make a device more secure. But as you imply, the system is still there. The institutions and agencies and companies that produced these attacks, that are creating new methods of spying every day, will still be there. The fundamental change, not just in the United States, but around the world, that has to happen is we have to stop thinking about the limitations on how data is used as data protection regulations. Right now, when we talk about what Google and Facebook are doing, right now when we talk about what the NSA is doing, right now when we talk about what rival governments are doing, what the Russians are doing, what the Chinese are doing, what the North Koreans and the Iranians are doing, we're constantly thinking about, all right, this data has been collected, and these companies have it. How do we regulate their use? Regulating the use is a mistake. We should do that, but that's the wrong focus. It is the collection of data that is the problem. When you start trying to regulate use, you're going to collection has already happened. The collection was already legal. One of the fundamental flaws in U.S. privacy legislation is the fact that we are one of the only advanced democracies in the world that does not have any basic privacy law whatsoever. We have the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution, which is the reason that I came forward, but that restricts what the federal government can do. That restricts what the state governments can do. It doesn't restrict what companies can do. And as you know, as everybody knows, these companies are playing a bigger and bigger part in the world today. We have to say, all of these records that they're creating about all of us, all this control that they're developing from these surveillance programs, whether they're saying they're doing it for targeting advertisements or whether they're doing it for targeting killings, these records belong to the people that they are about, not to the companies. And this is a fundamental change that we have never discussed in a meaningful way, broadly and publicly, but we have to, because all of these governments have said, the mass surveillance system, why do we have it? Why is it useful? They say because of terrorism. They say it's saving lives. They say it's preventing attacks. But no less than Barack Obama, in response to the 2013 revelations, created two independent commissions to investigate exactly the answer to that question. Were these programs effective in stopping terrorist attacks? Did these revelations cause harm to national security? It was called the Privacy and Civil Liberties Oversight Board and the President's Review Group on Intelligence and Communications Technologies. And despite having an enormous budget, despite having complete access to classified information, despite the fact that they interviewed the heads of the FBI, the NSA, the CIA, the full alphabet soup, they found, in the government's own words, the kind of mass surveillance that's represented by this bulk collection program where the NSA was secretly collecting the phone records of every American and everybody else around the world, every day, under an authority provided by a secret court order that nobody even knew existed. That program had never made, their own words, a concrete difference in a single counterterrorism investigation. Think about that. More than 10 years of operation in secret, never made a single concrete difference. These programs, mass surveillance, is not about public safety. It is not about terrorism. It is about power. It is about economic espionage. It is about diplomatic manipulation. And it is about social influence. It is about understanding the actions of everyone in the world as carefully as they can, no matter who they are, no matter how innocent their life.
Final question has to do with the Fourth Amendment. We have it today because Mr. Adams and others wanted to keep the British out of their homes and their horse carriages. What would Mr. Adams and the founders make